Scottykfitness is a name a lot of you might know since he has like 2 million followers on like Instagram and TikTok and all that and whatnot. Well, apparently, all that's going right down the shitter because he decided he needed to dox a guy over a comment. That's right. Crazy overstep on Scotty's part. A guy who all he does is preach about inclusivity and kindness and all this and that, and then is willing to do something as stupid as that. So before I really dive super deep into this video, I want to mention that I was going to say no hate towards Scotty, but a little bit, because like it's hard not to hate someone when they do something this silly, but as well as like definitely no hate towards the guy who put the comment, because at least the guy who put that comment after all this is like, no, he's happy about it. He's like, he didn't even know Scotty at all. He didn't follow his content. Apparently, from what because the guy who left the comment made a TikTok talking about the fact that he didn't even really know Scotty. I guess he just came up in his like For You, and he dropped that comment because he was like, damn, he does kind of look like that guy. So apparently, the whole thing. This whole drama that basically is like ruined Scotty's career is over the fact that a guy commented on one of his posts saying he looked like the gay guy from Ozark. That's it. A comment. A single hate comment. Which, in Scotty's words, is a homophobic comment. It's really not. He's not saying he's afraid of gays, which that's really what homophobic is like you fear them, because that's what a phobia is. Like, let's be real. But on top of that, that's not even what he said. He just compared you to a guy from a TV show. He compared you to a character that doesn't exist. And you got upset over that, dude. What the hell are your priorities, man? That's insane. And so Scotty also left this comment. I'll show it up on screen here, talking about, oh, I found you. I'm gonna come steal your butthole now, like weird that you would even feel like you needed to comment back with like a little bit of his personal information like that. Even weirder, the fact that you thought it would be a great idea if you made a video doxing him where you mention his wife's name, children's names, where he works, where he lives. Now the video I'm gonna play for you, it is like all the information is redacted, right? Like to preserve the guy's identity and stuff, because like it's just really shitty to have some dude on the internet with millions of followers just like throw all your information out there just because he was a former bounty hunter, which from what I heard apparently might not even be true, because you need a license for that, and apparently Scotty never had a license for that. Alright, so interjecting in this video here, I also noticed during editing, I just so happened to be wearing the same shirt. This part's being recorded days later. Anyway, so a few more things came up about Scottykfitness since I recorded that original video. Apparently there has been multiple sexual assault allegations against him that from previous jobs that either forced him to resign or caused him to get fired. Because there's apparently, I haven't super looked into this, so this is kind of literally just allegations until proven otherwise. Same with this other stuff I'm about to say. But apparently there's documents that you can find from those employers talking about like why he was fired and or why he left, because of the allegations and whatnot, as well as there's apparently alleged abuse allegations against the kids that he's like a stepdad to, including one that is mentally disabled because she's autistic, which, I mean, abusing a child is a big no-no in general, as well as like especially a special needs child. That is a major no-no. That's even more than a big no-no. That's an insane no-no. And I've seen some other creators that were like real close with Scotty talking about stuff. I'm not gonna add that information in here. It's a little pertinent, but also not really. So I'm not worried about adding that stuff in there. But with the allegations and stuff of like abuse and sexual assault and all that, that is literally just, from what I'm aware, it is just allegations. I don't know if any of it's really been proven. So, apparently there's court documents and stuff you can find, but I don't, but with AI and stuff being the way it is, I don't know if any of that's true, so I'm going to hold my tongue on that, not really mention that. I just wanted to like interject this little part. Another thing too, this was one of the things I just remembered. I forgot it at first. So apparently there was also a situation that happened where he would, during like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match or something like that, he like was like choking the person he was like fighting against and was saying that he could like basically kill her right then and there if he wanted to. Like weird shit that you really shouldn't say to somebody. Some of the things I've heard the other creators say, I said I wasn't going to interject it, but I'll just add this little part, which is some of the creators that were real close with him, I've heard mention on their own TikToks talking about how I guess Scotty was just behind or off camera was just always a self-centered asshole who made like everything all about him and how big he was and like how big his following was and all this and all that and another. So yeah, I guess this was just bound to happen or something.
Of hateful comments, and that's fine. I don't mind. What I hate is receiving homophobic comments like this one. And something else you may not know is that I'm a former bounty hunter. So, shout out to my boy Tomo. Nate, welcome to Real Life Consequences.
So first of all, shout out to his boy Tonto, whatever, motherfucking Lone Ranger out here. It's a good thing you threw your friend under the bus too, to show that, he is also responsible for you doing this. Because let's not forget, we're directing all our hate at Scotty, but this guy also, helped Scotty make this video where he doxes him, so he's just as much to blame for going through with it. I mean, arguably Scotty could have told him some bullshit like, oh yeah, this guy, he did some crazy shit, so I need his information, or something like that. Like he easily could have lied to the guy, because apparently, I guess Scotty likes to lie about little minuscule things, so, which, like the phone call that he made to the police, where he said he was going out of town and needed, some extra patrols around his house because he was getting death threats, but yet proceeded to tell his entire audience that people were showing up to his house when there is no record of that ever happening. So, yeah, if he's willing to lie about minuscule shit like that, he probably lied to Tonto here, whatever he said his name was, about needing this information for something more serious than it ended up being. So,
your middle name is. You were born in September. The last 4 digits of your phone number are. You're a journeyman welder at your UA local. You've been there since February. And hey, that's some pretty good money, which probably is how you afforded that 3-bed, 2-bath house right across from where your HOA dues are around $264 a month. It's pretty pricey.
See, it's kind of wild though that like I just still can't get over the fact of why Scotty thought this was an appropriate response to a comment. Never in my right mind would I ever expect, especially coming from him of all people, with the way he paraded himself around like he was the greatest thing to ever exist. Like, I never would have expected someone like him to make a decision so blatantly stupid. Just actually dumb. Like a very ignorant decision on his part as both an influencer and as a person in general. Like, this is just a not valid response. The only thing I hope, right, I just want to go ahead and throw this out there. This kind of has nothing to do with the drama itself, but, like, I really hope that this, like, in the end, like, instrumental thing that's going on, because Scotty deleted the original video. This is a re-upload, but I really hope that this, in the end, like, weird fucking groovy cover or whatever, I really hope that doesn't get flagged for copyright. It probably will, knowing my luck. But anyway, because I would really like to keep that in the video. No, honestly, if it does, I'll take the claim. It'll be worth it. Just because, I don't make money on my videos anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'd rather give you guys the whole truth than a half-assed one.
Now, Nate, there's more information, but I'm not going to give that out. What I will give you is a piece of advice. The internet is not as anonymous as you would like it to be.
Yeah, Scotty, you're right. The internet's not anonymous. And it's so great that you were such a saint that you left out all the other information when you're willing to give out important things, like where he lived, where he worked, how long he's worked there, his middle name, his birth date, the last 4 digits on his phone number. Yeah, it's a good thing you left the important details. What were you gonna say? His social security in the video next? You gonna say his credit card numbers and the little 3 digits on the back, and the expiration date? What else are you gonna talk about, dude? Like you've already went too far already. How much further are you gonna go?
Think twice before you act. Maybe think about how or would feel about your comments, or maybe.
Now, of course, the names are censored, but that is the guy who left the comment. That is his wife and children. Now, Scotty, as someone who is married with children, both myself and you, what the fuck made you think it was a great idea to bring both his wife and his children into this when that doesn't need to be the case? And you put their lives at risk by mentioning where they live? Because in Scotty's video, none of this information was censored. He was saying this shit. He was letting people know. Which, A, is terrible as an influencer, because that is a bad influence. On top of that, there is no reason that you got hurt by a comment so bad that you needed to overstep your boundaries this far. And that's kind of insane, dude. Like, there is no reason for that. Because think about it on the flip side, Scotty. Imagine if you left a comment on someone's post. Imagine if you were in his position. You left a comment on somebody's post just saying, hey, you kind of look like this character from a TV show. Yeah, he mentioned it was the gay guy, but that's probably because he couldn't remember the gay guy's name, which I wouldn't be surprised. Like with TV shows, I barely remember character names anyways, because a lot of them are just so fucking forgettable. But anyway, imagine if you did that, and then that creator responds to you with, this is literally every little detail and piece of information about your life that you would possibly need to find you. You'd be like, shit, my family's in danger. Like, I need to do something about it. Like, people can't be doing this. But yet you did it. Do you think you're like above the law or something? Like what are you trying to accomplish here, dude? Like wake up, goober. You made a mistake. You made a massive mistake that you. Now, Scotty did delete the original video, but it's the fact that he still made the video in the first place. Like, that doesn't, just because he deleted the video and his comment on the guy, that this does not excuse this type of behavior whatsoever.
Now, I'm a big fan of the show Ozarks, but what I'm not a big fan of is homophobic rhetoric that can hurt an already marginalized community.
Now, Scotty, the only way that comment could hurt you is if you were insecure about your sexuality. You're a straight man, you're a straight married man. But why would a comment comparing like your looks to the looks of a gay guy offend you? Especially when you're someone who's all about inclusivity and kindness and all that, as you state in your apology video, which we'll go over next. What made you think that you are, why are you not, why are you offended? I thought you were all about that, huh? Do you not like being called gay? Do you not like, are you just so masculine that being called gay is just like a huge insult to you? Because, like, that doesn't sound very inclusive to me, does it? The things that are happening to you right now, well, some of them, I imagine there's some things that are probably happening to you right now that don't need to be. But when it comes to losing your sponsorships, which this is the official statement from Rise, dropping your ass because of the comment you made, where on the post, they show the comment you made towards that guy, which was already an overstep. And then this video even further cemented the fact of they don't want anything to do with you. You fucked up so hard. And on top of that, like, the thing is he didn't even bother posting his apology video till after he seen the post talking about losing his sponsorships. Because those posts came before his apology video. And with the way his apology video went, there's no way it took him that long to where he needed to wait a couple days to make the video. No, he got upset because he was losing his sponsorships and was like, I need to cover my image. Here's the problem. You ruined your image making this video and making that original comment that you made on that guy. But like I said, he ended up making an apology video about 3-4 days after all this went down. So after his sponsors had already dropped them, which 100% He made this apology video just to try to cover his own ass and keep what little sponsors he has left, which I don't think he has any now. I think he completely lost all forms of revenue besides what TikTok and YouTube give him, which I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people stop following him, because this is something you need to not follow this creator over. Because especially if you're willing to do it once, you're going to do it again. History repeats itself, dog. So, and apparently, I've only heard one person mention this, so I'm not going to take this as gospel, as like a factual event, but apparently this isn't even the first guy he doxed. Apparently he doxed like 2 or 3 other people. So I guess Scotty K is just really good at, doxing people when they hurt his feelings. So I'm going to hurt your feelings. You absolute fucking goober. Like you made a fucked up mistake. You had all this money and power. From what you said in your TikToks, you grew up with a really shitty life, and you tried to make something better out of it with your TikTok. And then you decided it'd be a great idea to throw that all away because of a single comment that you deemed as homophobic, where it wasn't even homophobic. All he did was say you looked like a gay character from a show. He wasn't calling you gay. He wasn't trying to imply that you were gay. He was just saying you look like the gay guy from that show. So a more valid response would have been like, damn, you kind of right. Because that guy is right. If you had hair, you would look exactly like that fucking dude. You would look exactly like him, which is shocking. It's actually kind of baffling how similar you two look. But the fact that you got upset over that, what are you going to do? Now that I mentioned it, are you going to dox me too, bud? Dude, fucking do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you, motherfucker.
I owe you all an apology. For days now, I have been lying to myself, saying things like, I'm a good person. I've done a lot of good for the world.
Yeah, you may have donated some money to charity and did some fundraisers and whatnot, but still, like, there's no way you should still be considering yourself a good person after this at all, because you're a shitty person, because there's no good person that would do something like this to any individual for any reason. Unless they're like a pedophile, then there's kind of reason there, I would dox someone if they were a pedophile, I'm going to be honest. But I'm not going to dox anybody over stupid shit like a comment on a TikTok video,
It's all bullshit deflection to keep me from taking responsibility for my own actions.
Now note how he's mentioning taking responsibility for his own actions, but yet not once. This video is like 2 minutes long. And throughout this entire video, he does not apologize to the man that he doxed. He does not apologize to him whatsoever, nor does he make an attempt to apologize. He apologizes to his community for how he acted. He doesn't apologize to the person he actually needed to apologize for. Like, isn't that wild? Like, he thinks he deserves his audience more of an apology than he does the guy that he literally put in danger by doxing him for millions of followers on the internet. You're getting there, but you're not exactly where you need to be, Scotty. You're a little bit off.
I've built this entire platform on inclusivity and kindness.
More like pandering to every possible audience imaginable, dude. You were so, like, on the fence about everything until, like, fairly recently, where you've done nothing but get, like, super political for no reason. Which, like, dude, nobody wants to see that shit. Nobody cares. Yeah, politics are politics, and things suck in the world. That's just how life is. I don't want to see it, because I don't care.
And I lost sight of that in my own ego. I lashed out at people. I responded to hatred with hatred.
No, you didn't. In fact, what you did was you responded with the utmost amount of hatred you could do for literally somebody, like, doing the equivalent of throwing a paper ball at the back of your head in, like, a classroom. Like, literally, like, this is the situation. Imagine you're in a classroom, right? And Scottykfitness is sitting here, like, in front of you, and you're the guy that left the comment, right? This is what happened. Shot a spitball to the back of his head, and then Scotty turned around and just... That is basically what happened here. You responded to a spitball with a gun. Like, that is not even close to hatred versus hatred. His wasn't even hatred. It was just a blatant observation. That is a pretty damn good one. And you responded with the worst possible... You responded in the worst possible way you could have ever responded with, next to just saying that you're going to show up to his house and kill him.
I apologize for not being of character. The character that I promised you I all had.
Yeah, so you mean you let the real you out. You stop pandering. You start playing the character that is who you actually are. And on top of that, I just love that he's constantly like, yeah, so I've been doing this, right? And I feel very upset about what I've done. I just need to make sure that I need to recuperate and overcome from this situation. Like, the dude's you can tell he's looking at his phone. Like, he had to have bullet points up for this shit, because I guess he couldn't fathom an apology to where he can't just sit in front of the camera and be like, look guys, I fucked up. I did something I shouldn't have, and it was not a great decision. In fact, it was one of the worst decisions I could have possibly made, because it cost me sponsorships, my fans and followers, and my reputation on this platform. I could have done better, but I did not do better because I decided to respond to a comment with the most vicious bullshit imaginable. That would have been a true apology right there, and been like, to the insert guy's name here because I don't know it, like, I apologize. That was a huge overstep, and I am greatly and deeply, like, apologetic for that, and I have no idea what I can do to make it better. Like, that would have been such a perfect apology. No bullshit, no charades, none of this fake crying shit that he's doing. Like, an actual real apology. But a lot of creators aren't willing to do that for some reason. Like, I guess they fear the idea of crying. Like, you'll look like a bitch, but like... Or looking like a bitch by crying in your videos makes you more sympathetic. No, it doesn't. You just look like an asshole. Especially when the apology video stereotype has been done for years. That's beating a dead horse. That's damn near a skeleton how dead it is.
I hope that I hope that you can accept that. And if not, I understand. If you don't want to support me anymore, I understand. I hope that one day I can regain your trust soon.
Well, seeing as how from what I've heard, this isn't even the first time you've doxed somebody. You've done it once, you'll do it again. Even if this was the first time, if you've done it once, you'll do it again. So I don't think anybody could really ever trust you again, dog. Not after this shit.
But for right now, I have to focus on the safety of my family.
Focus on the safety of your family, huh? What about the safety of the family that you doxed? That you let their real names be spoken to on camera, of not only the guy who left the comment, but dragging his wife and I think like 2 or 3 children into it, and saying exactly where they live to where any of your rabid fans could show up and do some harm. So you're going to focus on the safety of your own family, but you're not worried about the safety of others? That's all you preach about, is making sure others are safe and happy and healthy and all that? And yeah, like what's the deal there, huh? Is your family just more important? Is his family here and yours is like up here? Putting yourself on a pedestal there, bud. That's what that is. Something I want to add to, another little thing here, is so with that whole 911 call thing I mentioned, so yeah, what's funny about it is me mentioning just then about like, oh yeah, my family's the best family in the world or whatever. Here's the thing though, like, so he told people in his Discord that that people were showing up to his house. But in the 911 call, which you can see the document for, because that is in a public record where anybody can see it, you can clearly hear the call where he doesn't say anybody showed up to his house. He says he's going out of town and he needs extra patrols because his family's there. If he was that concerned over the safety of his family, why not take them with? Why not just not go? He really doesn't care, and even though the abuse allegations are literally just allegations for right now until something's proven, like, this kind of gives a little more weight to it, because even though he cares about the safety of his family, clearly he doesn't care that much.
So I'll be back. I'll see you guys soon.
Scotty, I'm gonna be completely honest, I kind of hope you don't come back. Mainly because, like I said, if you've done it once, you'll do it again. Plus, on top of that, pulling this kind of bullshit in general is not something the internet likes, So, like, especially when you built your whole platform on being the most inclusive man of all time, apparently. So, like, yeah, but you fucked up. I don't know if you can recover from this, but I know there'll probably be no sponsors that are willing to take a chance on you, so have fun trying to make some money. Maybe your YouTube videos will do well, which they kind of don't really do very well, but that's mostly because you post like only on TikTok and Instagram. So, yeah, sorry to say, buddy, but I think your goose is cooked. I think the career might be over. You, on God, might have to find a job. A lot of content creators are scared of that, having a job. But that might be what you have to do. Hell, you talked about how you were like a cop and a firefighter, and of course being a U.S. Army vet, It's like, yeah, I mean, like, you've gotten jobs before. I'm pretty sure you could get them again. So, you should probably, go grab a newspaper. Start checking the listings, because I don't think the internet will be able to forgive you for this. Maybe there's a lot of people who are just so deep with the dick sucking, of content creators that, like, they'll take every word they say as gospel. So who knows? You'll probably still have a career after this, but just know there's a lot of people that are going to be like, yeah, make sure not to follow this guy because he's a dickbag. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to, show that your reputation isn't worth, like, the follow. It's really not. But anyway, that's really about all I wanted to mention and talk about, because as someone who followed Scottykfitness, on platforms and whatnot, this was kind of a huge blow, but also not really, because I followed Scottykfitness because, of his food and cooking content. Like, the other shit didn't really apply to me a whole lot, and they started getting, like, super political, like, recently, and like I said earlier, I just don't want to see that shit, because I'm just not interested in politics. It's just not my thing. Second, I don't like to bring politics onto any of my platforms anyways, unless it's, like, shit like the Epstein files, where it's, like, need to know information. That shit does need to be known, as gross as a lot of it is. But yeah, so I just wanted to bring that to light, being a follower of Scottykfitness himself, and, being someone who wants to be in the fitness space, and everything, and someone who genuinely thought he was actually a decent person before all this shit came out. I stopped paying attention to him, like, months ago, and then this is, like, the first thing I've heard about from him in, like, months, Like, and it was literally, I saw his apology, and I was like, what the fuck's he apologizing over? And I started scrolling by, and then I believe the apology at first, but then I started scrolling by and seeing more and more details of it, and was like, damn, this was such a massive overstep that, like, in this apology was just so half-assed compared to what he needed to say, that it's like, yeah, I'm done with him. So, but anyway, that's all I really came to say. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.